Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio today. Good to be back with all of our YouTube streamers, people who get in our chat and give us a little entertainment, a little knowledge, a little conversation as the show goes on every day. So good to be back with you guys, letting that fill up a little bit as we activated the YouTube stream here a few minutes ago. We'll talk a little bit about Ole Miss today.
Is there anyone in chat? Because I don't see it.
Not yet. No,
okay.
I have not seen a single. I have not seen a single chat pop up yet.
Making sure I wasn't missing something.
No, just there's the possibility of chat though. So that's
sure.
There we go. Is Landry messing up your name, Neal?
What do you say, McCready?
I don't know. It says.
You know how when you if you have dogs in your house and you don't smell the dogs after a period of time, and somebody else comes in and like, man, your house smells like dogs. Someone can say McCready, and
you're oblivious to it.
I don't even hear it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we're just with you today. We'll talk a little bit about Auburn. We'll talk a little Ole Miss about hoops. Ole Miss moves to 3-0 with a win over Central Arkansas last night, 68-54 on that one. They what's their next game? Who do they have?
They play Middle Tennessee on Wednesday night in Murfreesboro. I just published a very lengthy story
I knew that.
about Devontae and Dontrell Shuler. Dontrell is Devontae's little brother. He plays for Middle Tennessee. I've talked to both Devontae and Dontrell. I've talked to several members of the Shuler family. It's a pretty good story that's up.
You've done a profile on Devontae before a couple years ago.
I have. So I've talked to the Shuler family a number of times here over the last few years. Super people.
So, yesterday we're not with you. We had our podcast that featured a very long interview with Dickie Scruggs. So if you're interested with that, that is up on all the places you will find this here podcast, except for YouTube. I told a couple people on Twitter we did. The video was not doable from that standpoint, but it's all the places you would do from an audio standpoint. Tomorrow, former Ole Miss quarterback Bo Wallace will be on the show. We'll be with him tomorrow afternoon. I would assume live. We're just going to call him, so I'll assume we'll be right here with you for that one. But Bo, now the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach at Pearl River Community College. He was at Kahoma, and he has moved over to Pearl River. So we'll talk with Bo tomorrow. But nonetheless, a lot of different stuff today we'll get to. Tuesday, normally our NFL day. We'll probably hit a little of that. We got some other stuff, though, coming up prior to that, a few other segments. So we'll see where it heads on a show that's brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Head on over to the Blue Sky. You can use the Speed Pass Plus app. Pay right there at the pump. It's an efficient way to earn points and earn money in the same way, because when you get enough points, you get money back with Blue Sky and the Speed Pass Plus app. Paying right there, an efficient way to get on with your day with the Oxford Exxon and all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. Also, $5.69 lunch special, 2 sides bread, a 32-ounce drink there inside. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call it, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote. And the rest is up to you. You can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's get into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the service. You'll love the product. You'll love everything about it. I'm a big fan of Clark Ford. We have 3 vehicles there, and never had an issue. Great service as well, so they'll do it for you too. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Bo will be with us tomorrow. I'm taping with Ben Mintz a little bit later today, so we got lots of stuff on the hotline for you. At Rafters Music and Food in New Albany, open Tuesday through Sunday, and Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford be open this weekend. Be a great place to hang out, watch football. Ole Miss and LSU at 2:30. You got all the championship games. You got NFL on another weekend, so get away from all the shopping and take a break and stuff and enjoy the food specials, drinks, and everything at Rafters Music and Food in Oxford on the Square.
Oh, yeah, early signing day is tomorrow, too. Sorry, kind of forgot that in the middle of the lead-in. That slipped my mind.
I don't know how you can get in our admin and not know it. You may have just given away that you haven't been in the admin for 24 hours.
No, there are stories.
Holy mother of God, the admin's like a...
Are you ready for Wednesday to come and go from that standpoint?
I mean,
It's good to be prepared. I mean,
we're prepared. We're immensely prepared. But it is, it's... there's how many? I want to see how many in there right now. I'm curious.
Immensely prepared to be a good Ben Mintz segment.
That's true.
That'd be really good.
I'll tell him that. He'll probably cash in and make $1 gazillion.
Maybe we can get royalties off that.
In the admin right now, and I just published the Schuler story, and I published a football story. I talked to Royce Newman and Ryder Anderson. So that's published. So unpublished right now is 1, 2, 3. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stories. One of those is my mailbag. One is picks. One is the format for the butcher versus the spin instructor. So there's seven recruiting stories sitting in the admin. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
It's time to go.
Frankly, yeah.
Your admin stories like I am pin threads.
Yeah.
That's your OCD.
Well, I mean, I don't like a dirty car. Like if there's 2 things sitting in the car, I start getting antsy about it. And so this is man, I'm triggered.
I think about you. Well, I used to when I lived where I used to live. When I would run, there's a car that was always parked out in the street in the neighborhood over, and I was amazed by it every time I passed it because I don't mean dirty. I mean bags and fast food containers all the way in the back seat, in the passenger seat, up above the bottom of the seat, like filling the floorboards, all 3 of them, where it's all piled into, like hoarding fast food containers into everywhere in the car except the driver's seat.
I'd blow the car up.
I mean, it was uncanny.
Can't live like that.
James Bryant used to be like that when he was here. Like if he'd get in his car, it would just be stuff everywhere. I mean, I didn't ride around with James Bryant. I saw it in the parking lot. But
it's almost always a reflection.
I know where you're going here.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Neal's doing the lab doesn't like him deal here except with dirty cars this time. So I don't know. Anyway, so tomorrow, are we doing a normal schedule? Obviously with Bo, but otherwise, I think we're fine. Like normal 1 o'clock.
Yeah. So we're doing a 3 o'clock. Kiffin's got a 3 o'clock press conference. Yeah. I would suspect most everything is in. It might be.
It's all going to be Zoom. So
it might be a little bit organic. We'll see.
Yeah. Les asks, no one chased. My emails stay cleaned out, deleted, etc. My wife has like 10,000 plus unopened. Which are y'all? Because it absolutely drives me nuts.
I keep mine pretty cleaned out.
Your email's pretty cleaned out?
Yeah, just about every day, at least once a day, I go in and clean.
I have a little bit of a paranoia about getting rid of something that I'm going to need at some point. So I have a lot of folders and a lot of stuff that I probably don't need stacked into folders places because I don't want to throw something away and then go, I wish I'd kind of been aware of that.
I mean, there's some things I've kept that because I might need them, but no, I'm tossing.
Not so much. Are you a big folder person, or do you strictly just either you keep it or you don't?
I've got 2 or 3 folders, but for the most part,
it's not like lying down. Because mine's lying down the side of my page.
No, for the most part, I just throw it away.
Okay.
I've made it this far. Discarding.
I guess it's fine. Yeah, it's all right. Basketball last night. Ole Miss knocks off Central Arkansas 68-54. Rebels moving to 3-0 on the season. They have not necessarily played a quality basketball team yet, but I think they've showed an identity. We know they're long. They're gonna play defense. They're gonna rebound. They're gonna be pretty good in the front court. Frankly, the best front court team that we've seen in a long time from Ole Miss. Are they a shooter short, Mr. McCready, through 3 games?
Yeah, I did not see last night's game. I put up some post game stuff. I didn't see it. I used the AP story, and I was working on this deal on Devontae and his family. Yeah, they're a shooter short right now. I mean, I think they feel like they have the shooter. They're going to keep telling guys to shoot. You know, it's different practice to games. Different. Jarkel's trying to score. Jarkel's trying to make all of the threes that he's missed in one shot.
Yeah.
And so
the 8-run home run.
Yeah. So they're telling him, just keep shooting, calm down. And once he makes one, it'll be easier to make the next one. And then before you know it, he'll be who he is. Matthew Morrell, this is a year ago this time he was playing high school basketball. Well, this is not high school basketball. It's different. Devontae's kind of carrying them in that regard right now.
Yeah. Devontae last night, 5 of 14 from the field, 2 of 5 for 3. He went for 20 points, and he played 37 minutes last night.
Yeah. So
they're getting a ton out of Romello White right now. He has looked every bit as advertised through 3 games.
Well, he's played a lot of college basketball.
He has.
So that shows. All he's done is change uniforms.
He was 80% from the field last night. He went for 9 and 9. They didn't need more than that. It was fine. But, I mean, just gives them a presence inside that, frankly, they really haven't had from an offensive standpoint in a long time. They're getting a lot out of Robert Allen right now. Thought he played well last night again.
Yeah.
So it's a new team. And then talk about somebody who's just changed their body. Luis Rodriguez looks like a different human being.
Yeah. Well, he's always been a freakish athlete. Doesn't really get credit for it, but he does. And yeah, we'll see. It's early. They haven't made the shots they need to make, but they're just 3 games in. Can't forget, this is a completely atypical start to a season. So you had to ramp up to a season. You're getting ready to start, and then you get shut down for, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Exactly.
So you get shut down for 2 weeks. You come up and you can do individual drills, but you can't do anything team-wise. And then, boom, it's Monday. Hey, we've got 3 days of practice. We're going to play 3 games in 5 days. So, yeah, they look weird. Of course. I mean, look around. There's a lot of that. I mean, Kentucky's lost, 4 games?
They're 1-4.
They're fine. We'll see. They got Middle tomorrow night. Middle's, I think, 2-3 is what I wrote. I hope
they sucked last year. Are they any better at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And then they got to play. They go to Dayton. Play Dayton, who's solid. Not as good as they were a year ago.
Dayton double overtime.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Obi Toppin on this Dayton team. Carson loves Obi Toppin for some reason, so we talk about Obi Toppin a lot. I think it's because his name is cool. He
has a really obscure favorite basketball list.
Yeah, his fantasy basketball team was like, but why? And it was because I like him.
Okay.
When you're 14, that's good enough.
That's
when his team finishes 12th in a 14-team league, he'll realize that
he'll turn around and go, okay,
I got to do this a little differently next time. But
yeah,
like he took Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the second round, and I went, why? I like Shai. He's our best player.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but he'd have been available 3 rounds later. Anyway,
he's got to learn. Hey, it's all new.
Like I think Obi Toppin's on his team, and I'm like, but why? It is a great name. If your name in life is Obi Toppin and you're a hell of an athlete, that's a pretty good deal. It's better than being like John Smith.
The more obscure name, automatically better?
If you're a great athlete, yeah, of course. I mean, just think of how legendary Michael Jordan would have been if he'd been something other than Michael Jordan.
Oh, you think it really held him back, right?
I mean, yeah, but just think.
Well, it's like I saw...
Like Muhammad Ali. That's a great name.
It's like Twitter's been making fun of it. Jack Nicklaus.
Tiger Woods.
Okay, well,
if his name was John Woods, he'd
his
still
name's
be,
Eldrick.
Yeah, but if his name was John, and he went by John, and his name was John Woods, even if he was a great player, it wouldn't be quite the same as, here comes Tiger.
So his dad set him up for success early by saying, hey, we're going to call you Tiger.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Like in the movie Arthur, the quote, he's sitting there and he goes, yeah, I'm going to name my kid Senator. Give him a head start.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
If he'd stuck to Irvin the entire time, hey, here comes Irvin Johnson. It's not quite the same as go Irvin versus Larry as it is Magic versus Larry.
Yeah, it really held Tom Brady back. I mean, if he just hadn't been Tom, I don't know.
I'm just telling
you. Maybe he'd have made it.
Just telling you.
But yeah, Christy Nicholas, Jack Nicklaus's granddaughter, got married over the weekend or whatever, and Twitter's been making fun of it. She married a guy named Todger Strunk. Todgerstrunk. Todger Strunk.
So was his dad like a Dodger fan, but they insisted on the name Todd, so they sort of fit in the middle?
I don't know. Yeah, his name was Todger Strunk. Apparently he's from Vanderbilt.
It sounds like a Vanderbilt name.
I mean, come on. He could have played shortstop, frankly. Yeah.
That's all Vandy.
Yeah. So anyway, Ole Miss, we'll see what they got. Middle will at least be better than probably some of what they played, and then Dayton obviously will be a step up no matter what that looks like.
Sure.
They still have Wichita State too, right? That game's still on.
Correct? Yeah, they open SEC play at Alabama, and then they play Wichita, and then they get back into SEC play. If everything goes according to plan.
Oh, it's after a league play starts. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's right.
I'm going to keep an eye out. We're on 1 battery bar. Just heads up on this recorder.
You want some more batteries?
We have to stop to do that.
Well, we have to pause the show, but not.
We would have to pause this,
we don't have to pause
the
YouTube.
You want to get me more batteries?
Sure.
Will that make you feel better?
It will be better than us running out and not having the podcast.
Because then we still have to change the batteries. Okay. So y'all, we're just hanging out, guys, for a minute. I don't know. It appears that we need to do this. I mean, we probably would have been fine, but everybody just chill out for a minute. We'll get these changed out.
I mean, I could have just opened Audition and run with it.
It's easier just to run it through the same.
Let's see. Marv says, where did you get the pecan wood used on your brisket? I got it at Sneed's in Oxford. They had the big chunks. It was great. I did another one on Sunday. I did a turkey breast because it had to be cooked, and I brined it on Saturday. And then I did a brisket at the same time. I put a brisket on that morning at about 8, and I put the turkey breast on at about 2 or 3, and everything came off around 5:30. And it was really good.
And we're back. Okay, that worked out. We're all. I
used pecan early, and then when I added the turkey, I added some apple for the turkey.
Oh, later
on. I used I used the apple wood at the end. It was really good. I'm a big fan of the pecan.
Marv, I've not had it either, actually. Like send some over, feel free. I have not tried much new at all. I've kind of got back into it a little bit, but I've mostly been trying to kind of clean out my bar a little bit.
EC is Elijah Craig.
Models. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's no doubt. Yeah. Robert, we are using a Tascam DR. This one's an 05. We've got some DR 15s or 30s too. I don't know, but yeah, this is a Tascam DR 05. They all work the same. The higher number DR does not make any difference on what we're doing from a podcast standpoint, but that is that is what we have. So, nonetheless, let's see. Ole Miss related. Still hearing. Whatever you want to know. We'll answer any questions about our setup. I mean, probably would bore anybody but you, Robert, but yeah, we'll answer that. I think we finally have it. Even the compressor works now. It's the damnedest thing. Like, it all kind of works. Feel pretty good about it.
Why do you jinx stuff?
I mean, it's not going to be, if it goes out, it still worked.
That's true.
It just sat there not being used for like
it has
3
worked.
months. I mean, yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, the editing has gone from pretty heavy to pretty light now as things have progressed.
Marv mentions that he likes to stick an apple in the cavity of the turkey. I do too. I think that's a good thing to do. I don't normally like turkey a lot, but I brined this one.
Well, the brine makes
for 24 hours
every difference.
And I used a different kind of brine. It was a lot of apple cider vinegar, some water. I can't remember. It was some barbecue seasoning.
Okay.
It was delicious.
I used a bunch of oranges in mine, a lot of jalapenos and stuff in mine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, look, if you're not brining the turkey, then you're getting bad turkey. I mean, that's especially because I did it on the egg this year. Especially when you're going to dry it out over that period of time. Like if you don't brine it, you're in deep trouble. It did cook faster than I thought. I had to kind of keep an eye on it. It really, I don't think we even really talked about how this kind of stuff. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I'm all over the place, but whatever. Ole Miss football. Still expect them to play a football game against LSU. We'll look at lines here in a little bit on the show.
There was no indication today that there's any chance
I've heard
that they
nothing
won't play.
I've heard nothing at all.
In fact, Royce Newman said that all their tests came back negative, or as Kiffin would say, positive.
He does that.
He does. He confuses the positive with the negative. And I've gotten where now I just correct it for him.
In the quote?
I just fix it. I don't think he cares.
He wasn't asked. Well, no, hopefully he doesn't get asked about Zoom calls tomorrow. Hopefully he can recruit in
peace. Could you believe that?
Well, because look, A, he's not going to say anything. B,
why would you ask that?
Because you want everybody to know you knew.
Oh, you think that's what it was?
You don't?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't know. I can't.
I thought it was like an inside joke that wasn't actually an inside joke thing.
I'm not sure that I can get on that wavelength.
Can't get up that high?
Sure.
I actually didn't mean to do that. Because I guess my point is, what if he was not going to screw up, but what if he screws up there? I mean, no big deal. It's just slap on the hand. But, like, why even, like, it was just a waste of 25 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was the thing.
If he had responded with, "Well, yes, we had the Zoom call with Junior and his family, and it went well."
Do you need to not be able to recruit him right now for a day or two?
Well,
is that good? Like,
I shouldn't do this, but what it does show you is there's a lack of reporting nuance that you get over the course of time on a beat. There's things I know that there's no point in me asking Kermit Davis about something that I already know the answer to, unless I need the quote for a reason, at which point I would probably communicate with him and say specifically, "Hey, I'm writing a story about X, and I need a quote from you about X. Could you send me a quote, or could you give me a quote about X?"
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do some deal where I blindside him.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not cool. Doesn't mean that I can't ask tough questions, but that wasn't a tough question. That was
a waste of 5 seconds.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll talk Auburn in a second.
But it wasn't like he was the only person that knew that Zoom call was taking place. In fact, I think Zach had reported it.
Yeah.
So you didn't need to ask him, how did it go?
Was it a joke?
Yeah, but you don't tell inside jokes with people that you don't really know.
Well, it's because it's not an inside joke.
Right. I mean, you and me have inside jokes because we sit here and do this every single day.
Yeah.
But if you were somebody that I didn't have a personal relationship with, there wouldn't be an inside joke to tell. So I don't get it. And it doesn't matter. For people that think, I'm not bothered at all, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I was just confused.
It's just odd.
I was confused. Maybe not even confused.
So, no, I don't think it was an inside joke. There's a part of me that thinks he thought in his mind it was a legitimate question, that he could ask a question specifically about a...
And Lane goes, well, I can't obviously talk about the prospect, but hey, yeah, it really went well, blah, 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 blah.
To Lane's credit, he kind of took the heat off of him.
Well, I don't think Lane knew what call he was talking about at first. Lane was like, I've done a lot of Zoom calls over the last
he had literally just said that they spent the weekend doing Zoom calls.
So that was the one positive to them not playing over the course of the weekend, is they could do that. So, all right, anyway. Yeah. Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting, understands your market, leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by the College Corner. We'll have picks up on Thursday at your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area and Ridgeland. The College Corner is next to Fleet Feet in Flowwood. It's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. Visit the College Corner store at collegecornerstore.com, or you can find them on Facebook or Instagram. We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. Probably getting close to running out of time here, but go to there and go to deadsoxy.com, enter promo code HOLIDAYPRO, get 35% off your order there at Dead Soxy. Best socks you'll ever put on your feet. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, home to the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services team. Call them today, and they'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys, an anniversary trip, thinking about just some blowout trip for the summer since a lot of vacations got canceled or whatnot, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
So, Auburn in day whatever they're in now as they look for a new coach.
Day two.
Oh, it's just day 2?
Yeah, it's just Tuesday.
Good grief.
When they fired him on Sunday, he's only been fired 48 hours.
Feels long.
So people that act like it's been like, oh, what are they going to do? It's like they just got started.
Well, they got so started that, today they announced who's really going to make this decision. I'm really proud of Auburn here. Talk about things
the
on
search
Twitter.
firm?
Oh, well, not even the search firm. Ole Miss is aware of these things from transfer searches and things. The advisory group. They've announced Parker Executive Search Firm from Atlanta will assist an 8-member advisory group of this coaching search. However, here's the problem, Neal. I'm looking through the 8 members of this thing. I don't see Jimmy Raines' name anywhere on this list.
Really?
So hold on a minute.
So he's washed his hands of the whole
you think
thing?
Jimmy's just stepped aside? You think Jimmy just went, you know what? Y'all handle this one, guys.
Now here's the
y'all handle
now
it.
let me defend Auburn here.
Yeah.
Everybody does this song and dance. Yes,
I know.
Yes,
but I'm not sure. This is gonna be a big statement. You're probably gonna go, no, it's everybody, and I know it is to some extent. Boosters really run things over there, though, to a larger level than maybe a lot of.
Well, I said this on SEC Football and Beyond today, and I think I'm right. This is why I'm not defending Auburn, but I'm kind of taking up for it, and there's a difference. There comes a moment for programs where you have to decide, hey, we're ready to move past what we've always been. And it's a very uncomfortable thing.
Sure.
Ole Miss just did it a year ago.
Yeah.
Before that, Ole Miss was the good old boy network, and you cannot convince me otherwise, and I'll fight you on it. I will die on that hill. That decisions were made based on access, power, information, and I'm not talking about media. I'm talking about boosters. Hey, I can go to the practice and I can hang out with coach and them, and they'll give me some scoop so I can go back to the coffee club or my club or whatever and tell everybody, boy, I tell you, I talked to Coach so-and-so and he told me X. Sure. Because that happens everywhere. It happened at Alabama for the longest time.
There's that, and then there's that and, hey, we just need your money so you get a decision like a Raines or even like a Dickey yesterday. Those type of guys where it's like, hey, we can't afford that without it, and it just kind of is what it is. So jump on the plane and tell me what you think.
And so there comes a point where you have to say, all right, look, we think we're falling behind. We've got to change this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to bring in a guy who, in Saban's case at Alabama, and in Kiffin's case at Ole Miss, and in Kirby Smart's case at Georgia, we're going to bring in a guy who, Dan Mullen at Florida, we're going to bring in a guy who's going to tell the boosters, hey, look, here's the deal. It's my program. I'm going to run it. Get out. Show up on Saturday. I'm going to win for you. You clap for me. And then you can go home and brag to all your friends about how good the Gators are, the Tide is, or whatever. Well, that, as I've said many times, at Alabama, if Nick Saban doesn't win those first 2 or 3 years, they abort that thing. I'm just telling you. But he won so quickly and so big that people were like, this is awesome. And they got off. They left it. And I just don't know that Auburn's there yet. And in defense of Auburn, 90-something% of programs aren't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's difficult for me don't get me wrong, I don't care. I have no personal feeling one way or the other about Auburn, but you saw it at Arkansas where there was a window where they could have gotten Lane Kiffin. And there were people there that wanted Lane Kiffin. I think Hunter Yurachek wanted Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. He had messed with Kiffin a little at Houston.
But there were boosters who were like, oh, I'll tell you, if you bring him in, we can't come up, we like to bring our people when they fly into Bentonville and all that stuff. And so it's hard to do. And so you bring in kind of a good old guy like Sam Pittman that's going to slap everybody on the back. And, hey, look, maybe Sam Pittman ends up working at Arkansas. Maybe he doesn't. But in the event that he doesn't and Ole Miss becomes a power, they'll look back on that moment and go, we had a window and we let it close because of booster crap. And so I don't know what's going to happen at Auburn. I have a feeling that I know what's going to happen at Auburn. Chris Landry is absolutely leaving himself no margin for error here, and he might well be right. Chris is a pretty informed guy. But, if it's Kevin Steele, it's the people that are like, I don't understand why you'd fire Gus to get to Kevin Steele. Well, you fire Gus to get to Kevin Steele if you've decided that Kevin Steele is your guy, because Kevin Steele's not going to run the exact same program that
and it can't be because
Gus
you're saving $5 million in the process.
No. You're not. It's not about the money. They got the money from boosters to get rid of Gus.
Yeah.
Now, Here's the other side of this. And I talked to a couple people last night, and I posted this on the message board. If you don't subscribe to Rebel Grove, you should. Now's a really good time. Heads up, there might be a really super opportunity coming your way. But regardless, you should subscribe. There's a lot of stuff there. But I posted this on the board last night, and it's true. Talk to people around college athletics, and they'll tell you that this COVID thing has hurt them. You did a story about how much money Ole Miss lost. Well, everybody's lost. I heard a specific dollar figure about Auburn, how much money they've bled this year. Auburn usually fills up Jordan-Hare Stadium or comes damn close. Well, they didn't this year. That's a lot of money lost, real money. And people are talking about, hey, don't be surprised if a lot of these football operations get slashed. Analysts get cut. Some support staff gets cut. Some strength and conditioning extras get cut. That this isn't a little bit of a skeleton crew moving forward for a couple of years. Yes, there's this huge TV windfall, but that money's not there yet. So, if you get told, hey, you're going to make an extra $50,000 in 2 years, super. But you got 2 years until you get there that you got to keep paying the car bill. Got to keep paying the mortgage. So there's some issues there as it pertains to that. And I don't know that it makes financial sense for Auburn today. Forget Gus, that's over. To go, okay, let's go pay off. Let's take Kiffin, for example. I don't know what Kiffin's buyout is. I've heard different things.
They bragged in the press conference about it being pretty sizable, though.
Someone told me last night that it's significant.
Yeah.
So let's call it $8 million, and it might be more than that.
I actually think it's higher, but yeah, go ahead.
Let's call it 8.
Yeah.
It's $8 million just, boom, out of your pocket.
Right.
And then you got to pay off staff, and you got to bring in, you got to do all. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you think Kevin Steele might be your guy. And the feeling around people at Auburn, whether they're right or wrong, I don't know. But the feeling about around people at Auburn is that they have a pretty good roster coming back next year. That they have a pretty good defensive roster coming back next year. That and I know this, Kevin Steele is very well thought of in the coaching community, knows a lot of people. He's coached all over the place. That he can put together a solid offensive staff. They can get the program on solid footing, and he can be one of two things. He can either be a guy that takes them to another level, or he can be a bridge to that next place. A bridge to this post-COVID world where they get back to putting 86,000 or whatever it is, 88, 87, whatever it is in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Either way, there was coming a moment where you had to cut away from Gus because the feeling there was that it had gone stale. And that once you're stale, if you take steps backward in this environment, significant steps backward, that it's harder to recover.
Well, they were definitely stale. There's no doubt about that.
So look, do I think they're interested in Cristobal? I do. Do I think Mario is interested in Auburn as much as Auburn is interested in him? I don't. But let me preface this. I don't cover Auburn. I don't cover Oregon. I talk to people. I hear things. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be the great football expert that knows everybody all over the country. I don't. I don't get any sense at all from anyone around Auburn or anyone around college football circles, agents and otherwise, that there's any real traction to Hugh Freeze at Auburn. In fact, I don't think there's any at all. I also don't think that for all the people that are throwing Lane Kiffin's name into this, I just don't think there's any real traction to it. I don't think that's real. I don't think Auburn is locked into Lane Kiffin, and I don't think Lane Kiffin's all that interested in Auburn. And that's not me saying that Lane Kiffin thinks Auburn's a bad job or anything like that. He doesn't. No one does. But Lane Kiffin's been on the other side of it. He's been on the Nick Saban staff. I think there's going to come a point for Ole Miss, if Kiffin wins big, where keeping Lane Kiffin's going to be an issue. Doesn't mean that they can't do it, but I don't think Ole Miss is to that point yet. I don't think Kiffin's to that point yet. It would be risky on a number of levels for Lane Kiffin to walk away from Ole Miss after one season. Reputationally, go back and again, talk to the people that he knows. He'll tell you that he's told them that leaving Tennessee after 1 year was his biggest professional mistake. Mm-hmm. you'd almost be repeating that mistake. I don't know that that's the direction that he's going to go.
Well, John, I think he feels better about things in the last 2.5 weeks even.
Sure.
Recruiting the way he recruited and goes, hey, we talked about this yesterday.
You'd be walking away from a lot of momentum. So, I don't know. We'll see. My suspicion is that Auburn hires Kevin Steele, that it gets ridiculed in the national media, and that it, in reality, is not as bad of a decision in reality as it looks like on paper. And again, this is part of the problem with national media, is the statement that I just made, the overwhelming majority of them are unwilling to say it, which is you're not dialed in at an organic level at every program.
Well, it's a lot of reasons why they just throw all these damn names against the wall and go, hey, this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. And it's like, from day one, Dennis Dodd goes, the search begins and ends with Hugh Freeze. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
And in fact, it did not begin with Hugh Freeze, and it's not going to end with Hugh Freeze, yet that Dennis is never held accountable for that crap. I have a suspicion that I know who his source is on that.
Do you?
Yeah. Rhymes with Hugh Freeze.
Speaking of, as I was saying a minute ago, the members of the advisory group, the AD and the president, obviously Alan Green and Ron Burgess, Dr. Beverly Marshall, Tim Jackson, Bo Jackson, Quentin Riggins, Randy Campbell, and Michelle McKenna.
And that's all, you do stuff like that to some degree because you've got a certain segment of your alumni base that when you make a hire, those are the people that'll say, well, that's who Bo wanted. That's who Quentin wanted. Okay, good enough for me.
There's some truth there.
Is it window dressing? Of course it's window dressing. But sometimes
they did it here too with multiple different coaches.
Sure, they do it everywhere. They do it everywhere. You don't think if North Carolina basketball suddenly opened up, if what's-his-face walked in tomorrow and said, I just don't think I want to do this anymore, that when North Carolina did their search, you don't think that maybe they'd have a committee that might have, I don't know, Michael Jordan and James Worthy and Sam Perkins and Matt Doherty and some people on it? You don't think just maybe Larry Brown would be on the committee? Yeah. Everybody does that crap. I don't know why everybody makes fun of it. Everybody does it. Is it window dressing? Yes. Of course it's window dressing.
Your only really run problems is when those people get pissed off when they realize they're being used as pawns.
Yeah.
Which happens occasionally.
But like in this case, Bo Jackson doesn't care whether he knows the score. He's good. He knows exactly. He knows the score. Like I know Quentin Riggins. He knows the score.
Yeah.
And they'll have some input. They'll say some things. And it'll be that committee, when the coach gets hired, they'll have a breakfast or something where they get to do some hobnobbing and take some pictures, and it's fine. At the end of the day, Auburn had a decision to make. To their credit, they made it. Like Tennessee's doing the anti-Auburn right now. Tennessee's looking at this going, I don't know that this works, but let's play it out another year.
100%. What was it? I think it was Jeremy Foley. Hey, if you know you're firing the guy, fire him. Do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Quit waiting.
Yeah, if you know on Tuesday that you're firing the guy, why would you wait till Saturday?
Yeah.
I mean, look, it would be so simple for Auburn. It's going to come across as me just defending the hell out of Auburn, but I kind of am. It would be so simple for them to go, well, it was a COVID year. It was unparalleled. Beat Mississippi State. We're 6-4. In a regular year, that's 8-4. We'd still go to a bowl. We'd go to the, I don't know, Gator Bowl or the something Music City Bowl or something. Get our bowl money. Go recruit. Get them next year. It'd be real easy to hide behind that for a year. Gus is a good guy. There's nothing wrong with Gus. Everybody likes Gus for the most part. His players like him. He graduates players. He runs a pretty clean program. The whole shoot and match. It'd be real easy to hide behind that for a year, but they didn't. They said it's stale. It's not working. It's over. They let him coach out the season. They let him have the celebration with his teammates, with his team one more time, and then they did it the right way, and they're going to pay him his money.
Half in 30 days and half over 4 years.
Anybody that's feeling sorry for Gus Malzahn, you're out of your mind.
$21 million.
I mean, he's going to get $10.5 million in 28 days.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, and then they're going to pay him 2.6 something a year for 4 years, whether he works again or not. He'll be fine.
What's he going to do?
I don't know. If he's smart, he takes a year off. Maybe does a little TV. Sees what's out there. I mean, he's got a good record.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that he's going to land some big-time Power 5 job, but who knows? If a year from now Virginia Tech opened up,
sure.
Why would that be a job he could do? He certainly did nothing at Auburn during his 8 years there to embarrass him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they never had just some egregiously awful season. They never had a season where it just went collapsed. So there's a record he can build on. He'll be fine. I think if he wants to coach again, he probably will be able to coach again.
Yeah, Virginia Tech announces today that Justin Fuente will return for the 2021
That's what Chris said today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said that. So, anyway, podcast brought to you in part by Visit oxfordms.com. Some different events going on during this holiday season. A lot have passed, but still a few more. Christmas is 10 days away. You've got Christmas movies at the drive-in. It's the Cannon Motors parking lot on December the 18th. Die Hard, 19th, the Christmas store. You can get tickets on the site there at visitoxford.com or the Oxford Film Festival website as well. Santa will be at Visit Oxford from 1 to 3 on December the 19th. If you still want to catch a photo opportunity for that, that's 1013 Jackson Avenue East.
That's the amazing part about Santa.
He's in all those places for all those
He's got so much work to do.
And yet he's for the people.
Yet he is absolutely
all about the people.
He is all about the people.
December 19th, 1 to 3 o'clock for that. You can come and get it. It's free, no charge or anything. And then the Tour of Lights going through the 27th. Homes in Oxford and Lafayette County. You can see the lights around town through a Google Map link that is provided through the Oxford and Lafayette County Chamber of Commerce. So if you'd like to take the kiddos, see some different lights around town, you can do that as well. Again, visit oxfordms.com.
I think Santa gets nervous like the day or two before. Like, what if?
Well, he has a lot of experience. I mean, he's seen this show a time or two.
I mean, do you think he watches a lot of weather? Like, what if this is the year that it's really hard?
I mean,
doesn't
he deal with that in parts of the world every year, though?
Sure. But there's so much like last-minute stuff for Santa. The Jacksons moved from Austin to San Antonio. I mean, what if that...
The elf that was in charge of relocation.
Yeah, what if that elf missed a day?
He's fired.
You would think. It's a zero-tolerance policy at the North Pole.
They can't screw up, can they?
No, you can't screw up.
They don't just take the peppermint away for a day.
Every day has to be perfect.
It's kind of like a sweatshop in a way.
It's kind of like Alabama.
I mean, doesn't sound overly good. Kind of sounds like the nursing home guy in Happy Gilmore a little bit, just like over the top of them. And
so you think it's Santa, or do you think he has like an elf that's like the
enforcer?
The enforcer, yeah.
The head elf.
The head elf.
A little bigger than all the other elves.
When that elf walks through the hall, you're like, whoa. Whoa.
Sewing. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good question from Sammy.
What's that?
Would Santa pick up a scantily clad hitchhiker if there was no way for Mrs. Claus to find out? No. He's no chance. He might do it charitably to get her
to her
destination, but no.
Yeah.
No. He doesn't have time for that nonsense.
He's busy.
Oh my God! Every second matters.
Yeah.
He's Nick Saban.
The process.
It's all process. Yeah. And even late in the game, when you feel like, hey, we've got this thing.
He gets to like Topeka and goes, hey, this bitch is over.
Yeah. No. He continues to. This house is every bit as important as the first house.
Citadel, Georgia.
Absolutely. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks can provide, all the technology and products you want, all with the personal touch. They also give their customers the absolute best cash checking account called Kasasa. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000, and they'll refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We're also brought to you by Bain, Moss, and Bowen. Bain, Moss, and Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them at 662-287-1620. We're also brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with a commitment to personalized service. You can call them at 601-368-2215 and see if they might be a good fit for your financial goals. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Let's see. Lines for the week. Texas A&M and Tennessee in Knoxville this weekend. Tennessee is getting 14 points in this one. Sure.
Feels slow. Feels like a small line.
Does it?
To me.
Tennessee didn't exactly show a lot of power against Vanderbilt on Saturday. I mean,
Vanderbilt didn't show up.
It was still it was still close for a minute.
But like I said, if you were watching, and I kind of was for just morbid
curiosity. You
curiosity.
Get panicked by the score there for a minute?
No.
Vanderbilt may pull that one off?
I was watching the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
One team tried a little.
Yeah.
The other team was making sure they didn't get hurt. Like, I got 2 weeks till Christmas. I am not going home in a cast.
Because this one does not matter.
I don't give a damn. Yeah. I may never come back here.
Sign of changing times. Wake Forest giving Florida State 9.5 this weekend in an ACC tilt. Demon Deacons minus 9.5. Oklahoma, Iowa State, good game this weekend. The Sooners on the road in Ames giving 5.5 as well. That is your line there. Oklahoma and Iowa State.
That's a good game. That actually is a really good game. Should be a good game.
Northwestern and Ohio State, 20.5 in this one. 20.5.
I think on Saturday we're all
Northwestern Wildcats. They don't have a chance, but
no. But if you told me, hey,
you get to pick one.
You get to pick one and make it happen.
That might be the one.
Just for abs obnoxious sake, I might go, hey, you know what? Let's let Northwestern win on a 62-yard field goal to win the game.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, just the rest of it's up. You guys do the rest. Or, no, what would be better? What would be better is Northwestern's down by 6 with 2 seconds left at their own 13, and one of those goofy-ass plays works.
That's how you want it to end?
Yeah. Yeah. Where the committee's going, okay, we got it. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. And then I get to just laugh out loud.
The committee becomes Alabama in the kick six. It's like.
Yeah, where I get to laugh out loud at, okay, now let's see your hypocrisy.
See all the bettors lost last night in the Browns and Ravens.
Yeah, I was watching the end of that game because I was waiting for some of the Ole Miss stuff to process. Crazy. That game was.
Line's 3.5.
That game was drunk.
I mean, it did suck for bettors. Like that really sucks.
That was a drunk game.
Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Lafayette on Saturday. Coastal giving 3.5. The Chanticleers. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
The Roosters and the Raging Cajuns. Ole Miss and LSU. It opened LSU -2. It's now sitting at LSU -1. So it's dropped 1 point there.
Yeah, I've had it at 1 for a while.
You got it at 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Missouri, Mississippi State in Starkville on Saturday. Missouri -2 against the Bulldogs. Missouri -2.
I like the Tigers in that game.
I think I do too. I do like the Tigers. ACC title game, Clemson and Notre Dame. It opened at 7. It's now sitting at 10.5. Clemson -10.5 against the Golden Domers.
It's funny. I think Clemson's going to win. I think Clemson's probably going to win handedly. But still to this day, everyone counts Notre Dame out, and they've given us no reason to count them out. They have a good quarterback, a really good defense, and they make plays. Mm-hmm. And they're extremely well coached.
And they sit tempo very well.
Yeah.
They're kind of like I mean, they're a better version of A&M on, hey, they can, if you don't kind of show up and you get kind of soft at all at the line of scrimmage, they can really set tempo on you. I know Clemson didn't have Trevor Lawrence, obviously, the first time they played.
But Trevor Lawrence doesn't play safety.
No.
Or linebacker. And Notre Dame scored at will in that game.
I'm fascinated. I mean, it's the game of the day for me. It's the one game I'm most interested in on Saturday.
Oh, for sure.
It's not even close.
For sure.
And we'll be following a lot of it. We'll be watching Ole Miss, obviously, because they kick off 30 minutes later. But, yeah, so. Let's see. Star has fallen for Wisconsin as the year's going on, -12 against Minnesota on Saturday.
Are they actually going to play?
Oh, they not play?
Oh, I don't know.
Illinois fires Lovie Smith. They play Penn State. They are 15-point underdogs against the Nittany Lions.
I guess you fired him because of signing day. I guess that's the right thing to do so kids don't sign with the coach that's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And essentially the recruiting in general was the biggest reason why he was fired. I mean, I know, that's anybody, but I mean, at Illinois, it's a little different. You're not going out and grabbing a bunch of 5-stars anyway. But yeah, I was reading multiple things about that program, and essentially he was neglecting the state of Illinois to try to go south and steal kids from southern schools. And it's like, whoa.
Oh.
I mean, know your lane, Lovey.
I do get the temptation because it's like from right here to Champagne's just 7 hours.
Mm-hmm. But cold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Of course, it's cold here.
But anybody you're not going to go into their backyards and take these kids, though, for the most part.
No.
You're taking kids that aren't going to win in the Big Ten if you're going down to get them. Because, frankly, here's the deal. I mean, there are some kids that you couldn't take away from Louisiana Lafayette that just want to stay south.
No, that's true.
I mean, forget taking them from Ole Miss or State or Tennessee or somebody. I mean, you would have a hard time taking all the kids you want to from Tulane and Lafayette and pick your school. So I get it. It's closer than you think it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You got to look at what Indiana's done and try to emulate that. And that might be kind of what they did. Indiana has, for example, had a lot of success in Florida. Yeah. Illinois has not.
No. We're also going to all be Hawkeyes on Saturday. They host the Michigan Wolverines.
I think that game got COVIDed.
Oh, that one's COVIDed?
I'm almost positive. Someone in the stream might be able to tell us. But
okay. So we've had a lot of COVID this week.
I think the Hawkeyes got cheated out of a game, which means that Jim Harbaugh and the company were scared of Iowa. And they should be because Iowa's pretty good right now.
They would beat Michigan.
Oh, Iowa's legitimately good right now.
Are they firing him?
No.
Talk about stale.
See, we go back to Auburn.
Talk about stale.
I know. Just like no, we're gonna wait another year. What do you think's changing in another year?
Mm-hmm. Still gonna lose the Ohio State like next year.
In 2 more weeks, we're gonna open things up. Well, how everything's gonna be different. 2 weeks.
SEC Championship, 7:00 start for this one. Alabama will get its title and its coronation, but if you want to bet on it, it opened at 14 and it's now sitting at 17 points.
Lay them.
All of them?
Sure.
You good?
I've been laying them for weeks.
The line's not scaring you off now, is it?
Nope.
It's got a certain 2011 feel when we both took LSU and Alabama every week and went, you know what? They can't make that line high enough. Lay them.
Like I told you, I would have laid 38 last week. It would have been a push. I wasn't losing.
I thought it was.
Well, I was 28. And I was like, I'll lay 28. Hell, I'd lay 38.
Oh, we're talking about LSU.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought you meant Arkansas. I'm like, no, they beat the hell out of them. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
And last week that line was like 31. I was like, yeah, I'd lay 41.
Yeah, and you would have been fine.
I'd have thought about laying 51 and would have damn near gotten it.
You lost. I didn't turn it on at all to 31-3, and I went, okay, well, it feels.
Iowa did get canceled, by the way.
Okay. Tulsa and Cincinnati, is that one on or is that canceled?
No, that's on to my knowledge.
All right. 7:00 start for that one as well.
That's got a chance to be a good game. Tulsa's not bad.
The line actually feels high here. Tulsa's not a bad team, and Cincinnati's given 14. That feels high.
If I'm Cincinnati, I'm beauty pageanting this thing.
You got to beat the.
I mean, everything's perfect.
You still don't have a chance, but
no. But I'm
do our part.
I'm going to make the judges look at me.
Yeah. And then pray for Northwestern.
Oh.
and then go, and Tennessee, and go, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Just, where's the miracle
If you're
today?
a Bearcat fan, that's your Christmas trifecta.
You don't know much about these things, but you sit down and go, hey, Tennessee's good, right? Right?
I mean,
they got a title.
Peyton Manning played there, right? Yeah. I mean, how old's Peyton Manning?
Oh, and if you just really need a miserable, boring nightcap, Stanford and UCLA.
No. Nope.
7 is the line there. For
not watching that.
The Bears giving the trees 7
Nope.
points in that one.
Nope.
It's only going head up against the SEC title game in Tulsa, Cincinnati. I mean, what's not to like?
The end of a day full? Nope. And I get the people that love it that much. I'm toast by then.
You're not one of those people.
No, I'm late Saturdays when I'm done. I'm more like Iron Chef America. Give me something different.
It is kind of nice though to watch one that you really like.
Oh, where you're
just not working or care at all. It's like just having the drink and maybe you're eating some beef jerky or something and kind of sitting around before bed, and it's like Hawaii, Boise State. Sure, 5 minutes.
Yeah,
throw it around a little bit.
But I'm talking about those people, and I love these people because they're great, but because they're funny. Like Ryan Brown will watch that game to its completion, and I'm
locked in.
And I'm like, second minute of the second quarter, I'm like, that's it. I don't care. Not only do I not care, I'm not even going to wake up tomorrow and ask who won. I might never know.
Well, I've noticed that the most during the week. I used to be, hey, I'm going to turn on the Maction or whatever it is and just kind of watch it. I've watched none this year. I haven't even flipped it on.
Well, part of what makes Maction fun is the crowds and the different goofy stuff and all that. And when those teams play in empty stadiums, I find it to be very demoralizing.
It's also suffering a little bit from streaming, I think. Some of the flipping, because I'm not flipping. We use Hulu Live, and I'm just going to my channels. Like I see it, but it's not like I'm just guiding and flipping. There's a difference on picking it. I much rather to go, hey, I'll just read, or hey, that show on Netflix, just play. Let's hit that. We'll see how that goes. There's something there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but not a ton of games this week. But that is your rundown of ones that matter, I guess.
It's pretty good. I mean, you can't
Good slate.
complain.
It's fine.
December the 19th, and we're getting that slate of games. I'm
That's
in.
True. I keep forgetting the date. We're 10 days from Christmas.
I'm in on December the 19th.
Some bowl game got canceled yesterday, I saw. I don't remember who that was. A lot of bowl games are kind of getting nipped here.
I saw, was it Feldman came out with his updated list, or somebody did with the updated predictions? He had Ole Miss and the Gator. Had Auburn in the Citrus.
It was Mandel.
Yeah, maybe so.
It was Mandel.
And I thought, well, your guess is as good as mine, and mine's as good as yours. But I think Ole Miss in a Florida game seems likely.
It makes sense.
He had Ole Miss, Missouri, and Auburn in Florida games.
I've seen nothing but Florida or Music City.
Yeah.
Every single, if they know anything at all, that's the two things I've seen is Gator, Outback, and Liberty.
I think like it had Tennessee in the Music City, which is if I'm the Music City Bowl, that's this year especially because you're not worried about people coming to hotels and stuff.
Well, Florida's the only place because the stadiums are pretty open that you can go, hey, no, let's.
I want an excited fan base.
Yeah, let's go grab some people.
That's why if I'm them, I want Ole Miss. I want Missouri.
The Outback, for whatever reason, never. And I understand in the years past, they've been an East first pick, but the Outback has never really wanted Ole Miss before. Even when Ole Miss was kind of sexy and good, the Outback has not been a bowl that's wanted them. That's why they end up in the Cotton when they have over the years.
I know the one I would want if I were. I need to send something to my wife here. This is just today's world, okay? So Oxford Middle School plays in Tupelo. The game was scheduled for 7. We just get an announcement from the coach. It says the OMS boys game in Tupelo is now at 5 p.m. because Tupelo girls got quarantined.
But the boys are still playing.
Yeah, that's 2020 in a nutshell. 2020 in a text.
They moved it up 2 hours because the other game got canceled.
Yeah, so I got to...
Yes, Music City is always cold. That is not a destination that anyone wants to deal with. Ole Miss, Iowa would be fun. I mean, even beyond Neal's weird fascination.
It would be. I'd have a lot. Hopefully, everybody would have fun with it. I hope that we can have fun with a bowl game this year and not treat it like life or death.
Well, what bowl game is life or death?
Well, none of them, but sometimes people get weird. So if I goofily put on my Iowa helmet,
let's not make it into a let's not make it into a thing,
right?
I mean, you're going to put the Liberty helmet on when Liberty plays its bowl game when they're in the Cure Bowl.
It doesn't fit though.
I would not fit.
No, I tried it.
It's got like a little thing inside it. Can we not take that little blue thing out?
You can't get that thing out.
Oh, we can't?
Uh-uh.
So Houston a defective helmet?
I guess so. He sent a decorational helmet.
He's out of quarantine today, I think.
You does?
Yeah.
His team does or him?
Him, personally.
Oh.
I think he's out of quarantine today.
Oh, he's out of quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah. He tweeted about it this morning.
Oh, I did see that tweet.
Did you?
That actually was a good tweet.
It was good. Yeah, it's fine. You know, good Twitter can be good Twitter. Just be normal. It's all good.
Yeah. Leif says, come on, guys. They need those extra 25 practices. Yeah, no, there's nothing more overplayed than that.
It's coach's fault because they won't
they
say
do it. They won't stop saying it. The one thing Lane did say is that it would let them, some of the guys who sign early,
get mid-years.
They could come in and practice.
Yeah. He wouldn't at least see them.
They could technically
because they didn't have a spring.
They could technically play.
Yeah.
They won't, but
it will not matter that much. But yeah, sure. So.
Philip says it's cool as long as you wear an Ole Miss helmet.
We don't have one.
No, and then that would be someone takes that picture and goes, see Homer's photo out of context. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have one. We have ULM.
I do have the Lane Kiffin bobblehead. I mean, I've got that. There's Lane.
ULM's not going to a bowl game, I assume.
No, we're accepting a bowl ban this year.
You and Auburn basketball?
Yeah.
I don't like the Otani bobblehead that has him both on both sides.
Oh, you don't like
Shohei? Yeah. Well, I don't like the double bobblehead. I don't know. Not my thing.
Well, don't say that to Carson. He's a pretty big Shohei Otani fan.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah. Big Shohei.
Yeah.
Hitting Shohei has had success. Pitching Shohei has had issues.
Half of Shohei has been good. Anyway, okay. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. With G&M, you get the immune support med packs. Pharmacists develop combinations of vitamins and supplements, including a 30-day supply of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions same day each month. Make it easy for you, whether it's stopping into their store or getting it delivered. And with Right Way Meds, they will individually package your medication for you or a loved one that needs that, to potentially even save a life, as the times and the dates are on each individual package. So again, G&M, South Lamar and Oxford, 662-236-2222.
We'll have scoreboard business on Saturday at 12:30. We'll have some programming before that probably. I think I'll do that one more time because some people like it. Gives people a place to hang out during the mornings, getting ready for the game, and it's kind of laid back. Put up some different content items. Plus, we'll probably replay a signing day show that Zach and I will do.
Sure.
So we'll throw all that at you on Saturday. Scoreboard business will start at 12:30, though, and it's brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. They're stylists. I was in there the other day on Friday. It's a great store. Great look. Great selection. They got a lot going on. You should check it out. From vests to shoes to sports coats to everything you could be looking for. Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, Duckhead, and more. A lot of the college stuff, a lot of Ole Miss stuff in the Peter Millar collection. All that's at The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or at therogue.com. We're also brought to you by Heritage Properties, home to 3 communities in Oxford, Faulkner Flats, Cambridge Station, Lexington Point, all 3 multifamily housing. They all offer on-site management and maintenance. They're pet-friendly, and they offer short-term leases. Faulkner Flats, located on Old Taylor Road, offers 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartment homes, private patios or balconies, a premier 24/7 gym and tanning facility, a resort-style pool, a car wash station, and much more. You don't want to miss out on their special rates. 3 bedrooms now leasing for the price of a 2. Contact Liv at FaulknerFlats.com or phone 662-234-4558.
So we usually do a little NFL on Tuesday, so we'll do that here in a second.
So this is the family adjustment here. So she was going to go to Tupelo and go to the game tonight, and I was going to stay home and cook. We just flipped.
Completely.
Okay. So I'm going to get
because of the time. Obviously.
Yeah. So she's going to cook, and I'll go to Tupelo and freeze my off. Is it as cold today as it was yesterday?
I wasn't miserable. I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be colder.
Sitting in the stands at Tupelo High School?
Yeah. Where do they play?
That's what I'm asking right now. I think it's at Tupelo High.
Is it a football field or is it? I assume they have their own soccer field, but I don't know.
Oxford plays on the football field. They played on the Lafayette football field last night.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. I know nobody cares. I'm sorry. I apologize. But life is happening around me right now, and we're just kind of moving with it. So forgive me. I'm sorry. It's totally my fault. There's not one person in this thread who gives one damn about where Tupelo middle school soccer plays their games.
The NFC and the AFC, much to the chagrin of me, have new number 1 seeds going into this week. There's been a little changes at the top. Pulling it up now. Saints just no-showed on Sunday against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles.
They really did. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Sunday was good for Saints. I'll tell you why.
When they don't get the bye and have to play an extra game.
No, but long term. Sometimes big picture's big. They needed to see that because this Taysom Hill thing's not going to work.
They're not changing.
Well, they need to.
He's stubborn. He's going to. I mean, look, Drew will be back at some point.
I'm talking about 2022.
Oh, we're talking about
2021. Taysom Hill doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can be stubborn all you want to. 7-9 stubborn too. So enjoy.
Yeah, but even beyond all that, they just didn't play well. A lot of mistakes. I mean, the Saints. I mean, frankly, they're a mistake-filled team. It's kind of who they are. They just overcome it most of the time. But it was the worst I've seen them play an overall game in a long time. Hurts does use his feet very effectively. He was fine. He was nothing special. Better than Carson Wentz, probably. I think that's at least fair to say with some of the things he can do. But
yeah, well, Jalen's a winner.
He played okay. He was fine. But, I mean, look, the Eagles won a game with him throwing for 38 yards in the second half.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
The Sanders dude broke a couple long runs. The Saints' run defense broke down. And the Saints had a streak of, like, no 100-yard rushers in 42 or 43 games, something like that. And the Eagles almost had 2 on Sunday. So, yeah, rough game overall for the Saints. The problem with the Saints is that the Packers don't appear to be losing anytime soon, even though I think they're a flawed team. I don't think they're great. But with 3 games to go, the Saints still have the Chiefs on the schedule too. So that's the
Sunday,
problem.
right?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that if you don't win that one, you've got a pretty rough road. And you've only got. I mean, I know it doesn't matter necessarily now because only one team gets the bye, but you're only 1 game up on the Rams for the 2 seed as well. If the playoffs started today, the Kansas City Chiefs are now the 1 seed. Speaking of, the Pittsburgh Steelers lose. They are 11-2 now, so the 12-1 Chiefs are in first place in the AFC. They would get the bye, and if the playoffs started today, the Steelers would host the Miami Dolphins in round 1. The Dolphins sitting at 8-5 and have a wild card right now. Although they have a huge game against the Patriots on Sunday, if they happen to lose that, they're in deep trouble from a playoff standpoint. The Ravens, right on their heels, also tied at 8-5. But win percentage in conference games separating those 2 teams. The Buffalo Bills have the 3 seed currently, and they would host the Indianapolis Colts right now in a first-round game. Bills-Colts in that one. And then in your 4-5 game, the Tennessee Titans would host the Cleveland Browns in the AFC. So there is your playoff picture. The Ravens look like the next team in. The Raiders are a game behind that, but I feel like it's probably the Dolphins or the Ravens for that 7th spot. And then in the NFC, speaking of, because of a head-to-head win, the Packers over the Saints, the Packers are 10-3 and in first place. They would get the bye. The Saints, as the 2 seed, would host the Arizona Cardinals in round 1. The Cardinals at 7-6 have slipped a little bit. They look like a young team that is struggling to close out their season. They have a 1-game lead over the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears for the 7 seed. The LA Rams are the 3 seed. They would host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if the season ended today in the first round. Rams and Bucks. And then in your 4-5 game, the Washington Redskins are now in first place at 6-7.
The Washington football team.
Whatever. I can't help it.
It's now the Cleveland baseball team.
What are they going to be called?
I'll tell you what that team in 2016 will always be called. The Indians.
Yeah. 4-5 is Washington football team hosting the Seattle Seahawks. 4-5 game.
Sure.
Sounds good. Washington, they have a game lead on the Giants. Yeah, they're actually a game up. 6-7 versus 5-8. The Giants are a game out at 5-8.
Giants looked like a 5-8 football team last week.
And the Eagles, even after the win, are only 4-8.
Yeah.
Can't lose that football game.
Grind says the Cleveland natives. I don't think you can get away with that either.
You don't think natives is okay?
I don't think so.
Humanitarians?
Someone said spiders. They used to be the Cleveland Spiders. Spiders works.
Fine.
I mean, it's fine. Whatever. Who cares?
And you get to sell all new apparel unless people just don't buy it.
Well, no, that's maybe the dirty little secret is it lets you
rebrand and resell.
Yeah. They had a cool brand, though.
The Cleveland Spiders were an American professional baseball team based in Cleveland at the major league level from 1887 to 1899.
So it's been a minute.
I'm trying to figure out why they died. I don't really. Or is this the Indians? Like, did they become the Indians?
I don't know. I think so.
They did?
I think they became the Indians.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm not up on my 1880s and 1890s history. There's still Cleveland Indians on Wikipedia.
I mean, it takes a minute. It's a lot of branding that's gone into that.
There was a year off here. The Indians started in 1901. The franchise originated as the Grand Rapids Rustlers, a minor league team in the Western League. They relocated to Cleveland in 1900 and were renamed the Cleveland Lakeshores. The Western League itself was renamed the American League while continuing its minor league status. One of the Major League's charters, blah, blah, blah. Originally called the Cleveland Bluebirds, actually. The team played in League Park before eventually permanently Cleveland Stadium in 1946.
Toronto would probably push back on the Bluebirds.
Think they would have an issue with that?
Yeah.
You don't think that's okay?
I think Toronto would say, hey,
hold on a damn minute.
Hand raise. Just seems familiar.
So the Spiders are not the Indians.
Okay.
But I can't figure out why they just. There's no thing about why they stopped. I don't know. I can't figure it out. They got reduced to minor league status. Yeah, it says the Robinsons' decision to effectively reduce the Spiders to minor league status, along with intra-league rating, such as that conducted by the Dodgers and to a lesser extent the Pirates, unwittingly helped gave way to the National League's loss of its major league monopoly. The 12th place Spiders were one of 4 teams contracted out of the National League at the end of the 1899 season. The others were the Senators, the Louisville Colonels, and the bankrupt Baltimore Orioles. The 1899 fiasco played a role in the Major Leagues passing a rule which barred one person from owning and controlling interest in 2 clubs. So there is your...
I'm just going to guess that Spiders are the leaders in the clubhouse.
You think they go back to that?
I do.
Okay. There's your history about those teams and that stuff.
See, we're quick NBA thing, which I think is a great thing for the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo signed the Supermax. He's going to be in Milwaukee for at least 4 more seasons, and I think that's a great thing for the league.
You do? I
do. Because it takes away this it prevents from happening in Milwaukee what happened in Oklahoma City. It's hope for Memphis, for example, with Ja Morant. It's a good thing. The league is built on a player in a place for a long time, not jumping all the time. So I think it's if you're a Bucks fan, obviously this is a thrilling day, and if you're an NBA fan, you're like, this is good. I saw some smart NBA people doing like golf clap things on Twitter, like thank God.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last thing you needed was for Giannis to sulk all year and leave Milwaukee without them getting any compensation, and he goes to Miami to form some super team. Sound familiar?
Nobody needs that.
No, it doesn't work. It's not good for the sport.
Let's see. Do we have a Thursday night game this week? NFL?
I don't know.
New England at LA. Patriots, Rams.
Yeah.
So the Patriots-Dolphins game is next week then, I guess.
One more NBA note. Nobody cares, but I'm interested in this one. With Antetokounmpo off the market, the Heat now turning all of their attention to James Harden.
Oh.
Who wants out of Houston. Carson's getting more. He's getting more recognition on the show than he would like, but he's been on this train for a little while. He's hoping that Harden gets out and that the Rockets go belly up, because he's hoping the Thunder go belly up and the Rockets go belly up, so that the Thunder have 2 high lottery picks in a loaded NBA draft,
where you could rebuild fairly quickly if it hits.
And then speaking of loaded NBA drafts, a guy that was supposed to be at the top of the draft, top half of the draft, is Keontae Johnson, who, according to everything I'm reading, there had been some reports yesterday that he was out of the coma, but it appears that he is still in a medically induced coma in Gainesville after collapsing the other day. Did you see that?
Saw it. Are we not speculating? I'm just asking. Are they preliminary things, hypertrophic myocardiopathy, because of the almost kind of like a Hank Gathers sort of situation?
That's what I've read from people who appear to know what they're talking about.
Which is a genetic disorder
that can go undetected.
Yeah. Just
deeply concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, just deeply, deeply concerning. It just, God, that the sight of that, it reminded me so much of Hank Gathers.
And that was Gathers. He had done it twice that season, right? Hadn't he passed out earlier that year?
So he had passed out, and they had cleared him. We talked about this a little bit on G-Pits. If you remember, Gathers collapsed in that tournament, which was out at Loyola Marymount, the West WCC tournament, and they did not have a defibrillator there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons that the lawsuit was successful. I don't know whether Keontae required a defibrillator the other day or not. But the one thing that I've heard consistently from some people who are close to this in college basketball circles is that the Florida State medical people should be commended, and the paramedics, the hospital in Tallahassee. Apparently, he got incredibly good care in those, thank God, in those immediate moments. But obviously, this is really serious because, I mean,
and they dosed up Gathers and then decreased the dosage because he wasn't playing well, and then he passed out again.
Yeah. The way that he stumbled reminded me of that. It was when I saw the video Saturday. So I was watching that game. I'd gotten up on the Peloton, and I was watching that. I was flipping around, and I don't like College Game Day. I just don't like the show. And I'd flipped over to Florida State, and I wanted to see Mike's team, and I've been trying to make myself watch some college basketball because I got to talk about it, and I need to start watching it. And Keontae was my pick to be preseason SEC Player of the Year. And,
that's right.
And so I turned it on, and they come out of the break, and it was weird, and so that video popped up for a little while. It disappeared, and then it came back, but I saw the video of him just collapsing. I mean, face first into the floor there, and I thought the first thing I thought of was Hank Gathers.
Yeah. We will have plenty at rebelgrove.com. Hopefully a lot of the stories in the admin will be reduced to actually published articles here in the next 24 hours or so, or actually less than that. Early signing day tomorrow, early start for that one. I believe 7 a.m. Eastern time is when kids can sign every single signing day. So
yes,
coverage at rebelgrove.com. We'll have Lane Kiffin's press conference tomorrow from 3 o'clock for that one. And then we'll have a podcast at 1 o'clock tomorrow, same time, same bad channel. Bo Wallace joining us at the top of the hour. So we'll have plenty to talk about tomorrow. Hopefully a day where we see all you guys as well. Thanks in the stream. Thanks for hanging in with us when we change batteries and whatnot. And we will talk to you again tomorrow.